This is something that isn't discussed a whole lot, but it's something that should be brought up. It's things that I've noticed and people have noticed, and a few studies have actually shown this seems to be quite true. And this is the God that people worship is actually just a projection of themselves. Someone who is hateful and bigoted sees a God that others would consider hateful and bigoted. If you believe in a God that hates gays or dislikes gays or wants hell, but you're against it, you say, well, this is God's doing. You don't like it, but you can't stop him. And if you don't agree with the idea of hell, you believe that your God won't send us to hell. He's just going to annihilate us, or we all end up in heaven. For those that believe in unity and believe that everyone is equal and want to stop fighting with religion, a lot of them will believe that religion and whatnot are one unified thing. The idea that everyone believes in the same God, they just have different names for it. You also get this with people that believe in Wiccan and whatnot, or people that believe in animals and nature and whatnot. The god or goddesses or beliefs sort of follow this structure. If you're a Christian, you believe that God wants us to protect the world and are left as the shepherds of it, and so on. If you believe that God gave us the planet to use and exploit and control, as he says, it says, dominate the planet and whatnot in the Bible, well, this comes from your own projections. If you want to be very rich, you want to make a lot of money, it comes from this. And this is something that can't be emphasized enough. And even myself, I can see this and understand this point. When I think of what God I would worship, it would be a God that loves nature and wants us to protect it and wants us to help nurture and improve the planet. Now, I realize quite thoroughly that this is just a projection of my own mind, but many people don't see this. The God they worship is always just quite simply themselves being projected. And no, this has really actually been shown with neurological science. There's actually been an actual test that was done where they asked people questions about what they believe and what other people believe. And then they asked them, what does your God believe? And interestingly enough, the part of the brain that lights up when they're asked about their God, as opposed to other people's gods, it's the part of the brain that actually is themselves. All they're doing is just looking at what they believe, and then that is what the answer for what their God believes. And this is why, for so many people, it's quite obvious that what they're saying when they believe their God is quite obviously just simply their own God. And this is something that I think people need to realize more, is that for their own beliefs and whatnot, that when they want their God, they're saying their God believes this or their God wants this, that is themselves. What we need to do is stop looking for gods to solve our problems, and looking for other people or pushing off, well, I'm not bigoted, it's my God that it is, and all these kind of things. Because what we need to do is realize that it's ourselves. If we want to change this world, to improve our connection with nature, and just try to stop industry polluting the world, we can't keep saying, oh, my God doesn't like this, or praying to a God that we want to solve these problems. We have to solve these problems ourselves. If you really don't like gays and you think that they're wrong, don't push it off on your God. Admit it yourself and try to fix what you think is a problem. I'll disagree with you, but I'm not going to sit there and say, well, my God likes gays and this is not a problem. This isn't going to solve anything. Because all it comes down to is, my God's bigger than your God. And when we put power and believing in something more powerful than us, then there's no room to be wrong, no room for us to be corrected. If I believe that my God is against gays and doesn't like them and wants them to be stopped and considers them abominations, then where's my going to grow? Where am I going to change my beliefs? Because I have a higher power that is more powerful than your gods, and obviously because I believe in it, your don't. Your gods are wrong, and vice versa. There may be gods and they may exist, but all we're doing is projecting what we want and what we think and that we desire on them. And they're not going to be real. Our projections of them aren't going to be real. We're not actually going to create or show any truth about God. So all we're doing is, well, this is my personal desire and I want it to be true. Well, that's not going to solve any problems or bring us forward in life. We're just pushing my projection of God over your projection of God. We need to find the solutions and figure out what is really wrong by the facts, not by what we personally prefer. I keep going over this, but this is something that is really important, I think. We need to show why something is true and why something is false, rather than pushing to appeal to a higher power, a holy book, or personal preferences and whatnot. These things aren't going to help us find the truth about something. Because if God exists, even if it exists, you're probably very wrong about his own beliefs or desires, especially if you're just projecting your own. If Jesus exists, or Allah, or Krishna, or Mithra, or Diana, Artemis, whatever, if you're projecting your own feelings and desires onto a god or goddess, then how can you be sure that you're right? When you feel that, well, my God just tells me these things, you're just actually just talking to yourself and feeling what you're feeling. So, if you really want these things to change, or believe these things, say it's you and realize it's you. And realize that if you want to change these things, it has to come from you, not from some god or goddess or holy book or thing. We can't use personal beliefs and whatnot to change. We have to explain, show why we are correct or not. If you're correct, then your own sayings, beliefs, and whatnot will come through. This is what needs to be personally done. Comment or leave a personal message or whatever. Let me know what you think. I'd like to hear your personal thoughts and why you agree or disagree, or where you think I could improve this kind of argument or discussion. Please let me know. I'd like to hear from you.